What is going on, guys? Well, we had a pretty substantial leak today on our 5th chapter called Awakening the Giant. This is an image that was heavily blurred on the roll map, with some people saying they could see a type of Japanese fighter in the blurred image, giving more confirmation, if the title Awakening the Giant wasn't a good enough indicator, that this was a Pacific theater of war. But today that's pretty much confirmed with the data mine information. This is all coming from a Reddit user that goes by the name Temporal. This user has data mined information before, and I will link down his post in the comments down below, as I won't be sharing the full list of vehicles that he data mined, as I do want you guys to go check out his post for yourself. This was the only information on the list being vehicles and nothing about maps, so we'll talk more about maps and how I feel about that later down the video. But let's jump into some of these vehicles. We still got to take everything with a grain of salt, as it hasn't been officially dropped in the game and it hasn't been advertised everywhere on Battlefield's social media accounts, so it's technically not there in my opinion, but we should at least come out with pretty much certainty that something is going to come out of the Pacific Theater of War, so we can basically put it that way. So with that said, we got to see the M4 Sherman tank, which was a medium tank and was the most widely used medium tank in the United States Army, something that was pretty much expected to be seen in a World War II game. So we should be seeing that show up in around when Chapter 5 drops. We see the Type 97, which was a medium tank used by the Imperial Japanese Army, another tank that was widely used by its country, as it too was the most popular medium tank that was used with the Japanese Army during World War II. And then we see actually something pretty surprising for me, that out of all the vehicles that was data mined, I found, which was pretty cool, which was the staff car that was used by the senior military officers. So clearly this is not an armory type vehicle, but driving this vehicle with a squad, in my opinion, sounds pretty cool with your squad members shooting out the windows. We see the Mitsubishi A6M0, a long-range fighter aircraft manufactured by Mitsubishi Aircraft Company and used by the Imperial Japanese Navy. And then we see some stuff on some naval vessels like the LCVP, the Landing Craft Vehicle Personnel, or the Higgins boat, which was used extensively in amphibious landings in World War II. Now I'm giving you guys, again, this not the full list, but you can definitely check out the post in the comments below. But that should pretty much confirm we have the Japanese-American warfare going on here. There might be specifics of certain vessels that might not be quite clear, which is what the user wasn't quite sure about when they were data mining it, and he let us know that in his post. But it gives us some clarity that this is around water with a naval theme resurging here. But again, no maps were leaked throughout any of this, which has been the big concern, is maps, in my opinion, from the community. I think that's pretty much on top of the list. This is Chapter 5 stuff, so do keep in mind we're not even in Chapter 4 yet. We're still in Chapter 3 and still have Chapter 4 to go through all until the end of summer, because again, this is all not going to be released until fall, and we don't even have the exact even month to go around. Fall starts around the end of September, and the way things have been, you might want to push it back another month, so maybe around October time we'll see the release of Chapter 5. But to be a bit more optimistic, I was thinking back during BF1 when it had its first fall DLC called In the Name of the Tsar. If you guys remember, we had 6 maps come out during that time, with Lupko Pass preceding the other maps like a month or two in advance. And I remember just playing Lupko Pass for like a full month non-stop, as it was the only map in its own rotation, and we hadn't experienced any other maps since the summertime where we got to experience those 2 night maps. And I'm not saying DICE is going to repeat that exact same formula. We got to remember that that was with a DLC model, and we are in a live service, so content comes out more spread out during time, but it comes out more consistently. But with that said, I do sure hope they end up bringing out like 6 maps over time. I think they can. I mean, I know they're always ahead of us in terms of development. And what I mean by that is they're like months in advance, if not a good year or so. We see that with some of the conceptual art that they've bring out, and they kind of give us the timestamp of when they were first conceptualizing it, and it was like a year, 9 months in advance. So when it comes to developing things, if it's not years in advance and conceptualizing it, it's a long ways away. And even though these things are in motion, hence why we're seeing these things being data mined now, and obviously DICE has been working on this for a while, This is what DICE talked about with the live service. They made a huge deal about things being interchangeable and having parts that they can remove in and out, and that they could be more flexible. So I don't know exactly what that means in DICE's terms, but here's an opportunity to be flexible. If there's only 4 maps coming out, like the typical, quote unquote DLCs that get dropped, deliver us 6 maps. If you do this, this is a great opportunity to take advantage of an iconic period of war right now. They're going to go into the Pacific Theater of War. Everyone's going to be hyped up about it. Here's a great time to really deliver what the community's been really wanting for. And that's, bring us more than just a typical 4 maps. So again, this is not a DLC model. You're not going to see just 4 maps just drop right there. They should be spread out. But man, bring out 2 maps a month, man, and do that for the next 3 months over the full fall time. I'll tell you what, that would really boost just the morale of the community, of how they're feeling. Now's the time to do it. We're like 6 months away from the release of this theater of war called Awakening the Giant, right? So this is enough time for them to squeeze out maybe 2 more maps. I don't know how many maps they have planned, but I sure hope we're getting like 4 at least, right? And then to squeeze out another 2 more. I think that would just be a great turnaround. I know it's a whiles away, but this is kind of how the things set are in motion. This is how it works when you're developing these type of systems, and it's not quite as easy as we'd like it to be, but man, they've already heard us venting for months now about maps. I mean, if they can't turn it around here, I don't know what. But I think this is a great opportunity for them to do it. And no, DICE, that if you make another map that's for Firestorm, that doesn't count, okay? Maps need to be separate from Firestorm. Criteria Games is working on Firestorm. DICE Studio is working on the base multiplayer for Battlefield. Those shouldn't be taking resources from each other. At least that wasn't conveyed to us. All right, people think Firestorm is like a bonus, but we should be getting the regular multiplayer experience that everyone is accustomed to. And so that's not to beat down DICE, and be negative and be cynical, but to be clear of what we're actually looking for, because I actually do think that most of the stuff is just a communication issue, actually, just from my own experiences of working in businesses in my own life, that 9 out of 10 times I'd actually say majority of the problems were always where people just had the lack of communication. I think if DICE just understood where people are coming from, I think we could all pretty much line up and actually deliver a really good game. So that's what I'm really hoping for. I'm trying to take the optimistic road. I think this is a great opportunity. Feel free to let me know what you guys think in the comments below. At least we know we're getting the Pacific Theater War. That is something to talk about. But that is it for you guys today. Again, I always appreciate you guys being here. I am Livin. I'll catch you guys again later.